Hello there. We're glad to have you join us on NAPTIP On The Move. My name is Angela Agbegi. On this episode, we'll enlighten you on the Trafficking in Persons, Control of Activities of Organizations and Centers, Regulation 2019. Don't go away. It's NAPTIP On The Move.
The recent varied antics and evolving methods of deception employed by human traffickers in luring unsuspecting victims informed the issuance of the Trafficking in Persons, Control of Activities of Organizations and Centers, Regulation 2019.
The reason why this regulation was issued was because of the obvious abuse by certain categories of people. And this regulation gives NAPTIP the powers to regulate, control, and issue clearance certificates to travel agencies, to tour operators, sport recruiter, and intending travelers traveling out for the purposes of labor recruitment, educational purposes, cultural activities, music activities, and also for the issuance of licenses to organizations that operate centers and shelters for the purpose of the rehabilitation of human trafficking victims. And we know that when we look at the human trafficking ecosystem, there is a proliferation of organizations who parade themselves as legit, and most of them are just set up to pry on unsuspecting victims and just take advantage, pry on the desperations of Nigerians.
The Regulation 2019 is to ensure that unsuspecting victims are not trafficked.
In the past year and a half, we've seen incremental cases of Nigerians being trafficked to countries in the Middle East, especially for labor exploitation, and especially women from the southwestern part of Nigeria. And also last year, we investigated and arrested a number of travel agencies who were guilty of deceiving these people, telling them they had jobs for them abroad, and when they got there, what they met was nothing close to what they were promised before they left Nigeria. I know that last year we arrested about 3 different travel agents who facilitated the travel of a number of Nigerians to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. When the case was referred to us, of course, we did our investigation. We arrested them, they were interrogated, and we compelled them to facilitate the return of these Nigerians. And just a few weeks ago, this past June, we arrested 2 men that were parading themselves as travel agents. They run a fake travel agency, and they were in the process of facilitating the travel of 2 young girls, one 16, the other one I think 25, to Asia. And you know, these girls were procured from different parts of Nigeria, and unfortunately they are taking these young girls to a shrine to swear an oath. They brought them to Abuja. They harbored them in a hotel while they processed their visas. And during the arrest, we also recovered 28 passports. So 28 passports from 4 different countries, including Nigeria, Ghana, Republic of Niger, and Republic of Benin. We also recovered a number of different fake letterheaded papers that they use in applying for visas. So it's really a huge problem.
To curb human trafficking, NAPTIP commenced the full implementation of this regulation.
Last year, we commenced the aggressive implementation of this regulation 2019. Like, of course, as the name implies, this was a regulation that was issued in 2019, so it's really nothing new. But what was missing was a deliberate and targeted implementation of this regulation. For the fact that a business, whether it's a tour operator or a travel agent or a sports recruiter, applies for a clearance certificate, does not mean that that clearance certificate will be issued to you. Because of course you apply, we have to do our due diligence, we have to ensure that your business is legit, we have to verify the documentation, and where we feel that organization is not legit, then we will not issue a clearance certificate, and obviously we will investigate that business. To ensure a very seamless application process, last year an online portal was developed, so the application process is 100% automated. You apply online, you make your administrative fee payment online, and we issue the certificates online. So anyone who wants to apply does not have to go through a middle person. We've completely eliminated that face-to-face interface. Everything can be done digitally, and the website is definitely user-friendly. So for the process of obtaining a license by organizations that run shelters and homes, it's the same process as the other category, but it's a little more intense. So they do the application process online, we do our vetting, and the organization will have to indicate a time where NAPTIP officers will go to the shelter or the center and evaluate the center to make sure that the center or the home meets the minimum requirement that is needed.
Here's how to apply for a clearance certificate.
Basically, is an online portal that we have started to make seamless application for those even on the table in your office. You can apply, and the website, it's www.tipclearance.naptip.gov.ng. So when you log on to that portal, first of all, you will see a homepage which displays how to register, and then log in. So if you have already registered, you proceed. But if you have not registered before, you now go on to the registered portal, then you that is representing an entity, maybe a company, an organization that wants to register, you now go and register, you put in your contact details, your email address, and then you create your own password. And then at the back end, NAPTIP officers, review officers, and admin will see it and then approve and then give you a go-ahead to now upload the details of your own organizations. Then we look at it and then we verify. The next thing to do is to actually apply. If you're taking people outside the country, especially not just minors, if you're taking anybody for sporting activities outside Nigeria, taking school children for excursion outside Nigeria, taking students for cultural excursions, for sporting activities, and then even for recruitment of labor outside Nigeria, you need to register, you need to apply and tell us where, which recruitment organization, you're partnering with outside Nigeria. We need to see the documents and we need to apply and give us the details and particulars and biodata of each person that they're taken out of Nigeria. So those are the basic things you do when you apply, when you now upload those documents, and we now have our internal verification, and the application is supposed to be within 14 days. When I mean within 14 days, if your papers and the verification is completed, it can be done within 48 hours. But the less document you give us, the more time the application takes. But if you're able to give us all the documents and they are correct and it's been verified in all these other organizations, then we could just within 48 hours you could get your certificate issued.
NAPTIP collaborates with ministries, departments and agencies to verify documents before issuing the clearance certificates.
We have the technical working group and we have the Federal Ministry of Education. It's a member of the technical working group. We have the Corporate Affairs Commission, Nigerian Identity Management Commission, which is NIMC, and then we have also the Federal Ministry of Sports, Youth and Sports, and then we have Federal Ministry of Labor, Employment. They are also part of that regulation. So most times, because if you apply for, you're going for labor, we need to know, we need to have your certificate that has been issued by the Ministry of Labor that you are a legal recruitment agency in Nigeria. If we don't see that, automatically there's no way we can give you an approval for that recruitment. And Federal Ministry of Education to actually verify whether schools are actually registered with them, and CAC to actually verify whether the organization is a legal entity, you understand. And then we have NIMC, they are the custodian of digital identity in Nigeria. So we need to know whether the Nigerian digital identities actually has, whether it's true or not. So we need to verify, especially your name number, your name, so that to be sure that you actually have that and it's attached to your passport. And Nigerian Immigration Service are there also because they are the last line if you're going out of the country to check whether your passports are true and also to actually have us enforce it since you are not at the exit points, especially the airports. The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports are there because we have so many sporting federations. The Nigerian Football Federation, we have the Nigerian Basketball Federation. These are the major two organizations that we have seen that usually take out people out of Nigeria. We have other sporting organizations. So those organizations will actually need to verify from the Federal Ministry of Sports or any of their federations whether they exist, whether they have license to actually take people for trials, especially football trials or basketball trials out of the country. So we actually have that with them. So they usually help us check because they are members of the technical working group also.
The agency organizes sensitization campaigns and workshops to create awareness.
NAPTIP has been doing a lot to scale awareness around this area, and we've been sensitizing the public through print and digital media. We've heightened the awareness amongst embassies through our embassy liaison meeting, quarterly meeting, and the donor community is also aware of this regulation. And We've been able to conduct sensitization for tour and travel companies and recruitment agencies in Lagos, in FCT, in Kano, and in Port Harcourt. So, you know, the awareness is out there. People know that there is a regulation for this purpose. So far, we've seen incremental compliance to Regulation 2019 by mostly schools, and we've seen compliance by the Nigerian Football Federation. So Nigerian Football Federation always apply to get clearance when they're traveling out of Nigeria for any sports tournament, whether it's the Super Eagles, whether it's the Falcon. For organizations that run shelters and centers, not so much. We haven't seen a lot of compliance, and a month ago we issued a press statement regarding that, and we published the names of the organizations that had fully complied with the Regulation 2019, and also another category of organizations that have partially complied with this regulation. And the reason why we did that was to put Nigerians on notice, and also put the donor community on notice, so that people are aware of these organizations that have been categorized as legitimate, so that if you want to partner with any organization, one of the questions you have to ask, especially organizations that run centers or shelters for the purpose of the rehabilitation of victims of human trafficking, is, have you acquired your license from NAPTIP? And basically the essence of this implementation is to separate the wheat from the chaff.
A word for Nigerians.
As we know, there are lots of organizations parading themselves as NGOs, parading themselves as civil society, but they're just there to probably defraud and take advantage of unsuspecting victims. So my advice to Nigerians is, for your own safety, if you must travel out for any labor migration, it is your right to want to travel out of Nigeria, but it is also your responsibility to make sure that you are not taken advantage of, and which is why NAPTIP has tried to put out systems and policies in place to protect you. So if you are working with a labor recruiter, or you are working with a travel agent, one of the questions that you need to ask is, have you secured a clearance certificate from NAPTIP? Because people masquerade themselves as whatever they want people to believe they are. So you need to do your homework. You need to be circumspect. And like I always say, if it is free, then you are definitely the product.
Indeed, it is an easy process. Apply today and obtain your clearance certificate. NAPTIP is committed to ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
Hope you were enlightened. Our event segment is up next. Stay with NAPTIP on the Move. The Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, His Excellency Shri Balasubramanian, and his team recently paid a visit to the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi. Speaking on the purpose of the visit, the High Commissioner expressed a need for a memorandum of understanding that will enhance seamless collaboration to fight human trafficking in the two countries. He also shared experiences on the dimension of human trafficking from Nigeria to India, and commended NAPTIP for its proactive operations. Receiving the High Commissioner and his team, the Director General of NAPTIP enumerated the agency's various counter-trafficking efforts and strategies, with emphasis on the trafficking in persons, control of activities of organizations and centers, Regulation 2019, which empowers the agency to regulate, control and issue clearance certificates to travel agents, tour operators, labor recruiters, and the likes. The visit will further strengthen the collaboration to enhance the fight against human trafficking. The Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi, recently received members of the Center for Citizens with Disabilities, led by the Executive Director David Anyaile. Mr. Anyaile said the visit is to collaborate with NAPTIP in the areas of data collation, sensitization of persons with disabilities, capacity building, and annual review on the state of affairs regarding human trafficking and sexual and gender-based violence, as it relates to persons with disabilities. Welcoming the team, the Director General of NAPTIP revealed that the agency has over time prioritized issues concerning persons with disabilities, recognizing that persons with disabilities are targets of human traffickers due to their status. She also highlighted the efforts of the agency in its disability inclusion policy, including the construction of ramps at the agency's headquarters, transcription of key policy documents into Braille, and plans to inaugurate the anti-trafficking vanguards in schools for the deaf. NAPTIP is ensuring disability inclusion in its activities. The Federal High Court in Lagos State, presided over by Honorable Justice Yelin S. Bogoro, has sentenced a 45-year-old male, Erile Abdul Kadir Abiodun, for the sexual exploitation of 2 female victims. The defendant was convicted on 3 counts. First count, 2 years imprisonment without option of fine for deceitfully recruiting a female victim for the purpose of prostitution in Mali. Second count, 1 year imprisonment without option of fine for organizing foreign travel which promoted prostitution for the first female victim. Third count, 1 year imprisonment without option of fine for organizing foreign travel and sexual exploitation of the second female victim. The prison term is to run concurrently. A team from the Joint Border Task Force led by Dean Goddard, the International Liaison Officer, Home Office International Operations, and Chris Hawksfield, Regional Operations Manager of the West Africa Border Force Europe and International at the British High Commission, paid a visit to the Director General of NAPTIP, Professor Fatima Waziri Azi. The discussion was on improving synergy in the fight against human trafficking and to extend existing collaboration to the fight against violence against persons. In her response, the Director General of NAPTIP welcomed and encouraged more collaboration between the 2 agencies, which will aid the fight against human trafficking and violence against persons.
Your attention, please.
Are you a travel agent, or do you plan to travel abroad for work, school, professional sports activities or school excursion? Are you worried about incessant reports of human trafficking and unjust practices? NAPTIP is here to help. The Standard Operating Procedure for International Recruitment, recently launched by the federal government and relevant agencies, and NAPTIP's Regulation 2019, ensures that proper vetting is conducted and a clearance certificate issued by NAPTIP so that your mind is at rest when you travel. Avoid irregular migration and falling victim of human trafficking. Regular and safe migration is possible. For more information, log on to tipclearance.naptip.gov.ng. NAPTIP, ensuring a human trafficking and violence-free nation.
It's time to bring you an account of a victim. Keep watching.
My uncle brought me here. Give the person at the work, at the go school. For to say large. My father call my uncle say if they don't bring me for house, he say they won't bring me for marriage. How many years I spent? They call my uncle back. They call him. They fight the uncle say if they don't bring me, they won't kill the person they bring me here. They say I come and marry. I said I don't want to marry now. Now school I want. My mother say no. My mother say you won't train me like our children. Leave their school. They work by themselves. I said me too I want. If I finish school, I call myself educated, they work on it. Now like this I want to. So that me, I did for better people for Abuja. That's why me and my madam can report for school. They call people for Gwari. People 2 people, 2 women, Bogwari, they come and carry me. And then bring me here. NAPTIP, I'm very happy. The team will help me for that.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
It's a wrap, but I must thank you for watching and urge you to join us again next week. I'm Angela Agbegi. Bye for now.